Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. We have a question. Who do you believe? Do you believe an anonymous whistleblower from inside Whitehall who tells us that the government are actually fearful of a massive set of closures of private schools thanks to the VAT on private education, and that they're ill prepared for it, they haven't got a clue what they're going to do, and that they're actually panicking? Do you believe him? Or do you believe the official spokesperson for the government, a government which has repeatedly, knowingly and provably lied to us many times, who says, no, this is misleading. We're not panicking at all. We're prepared for it. We knew that these numbers would come. I'm going to go with option A. I'm going to say that the government haven't got a clue how many schools are going to close entirely, how many children are going to be thrust from public school into state school. They don't know how they're going to fund it, and they haven't got a clue on when it is going to happen. That's what I feel. And I don't care what a spokesman for these bunch of liars says. We know they lie. We know they're panicking. We know that, yet again, it's another policy that was so ill thought out that now that it's coming back to bite them on the arse. They're trying to shift the blame. And yet they were supposed to do consultancy on this. The law is there. Any major changes like this, you're supposed to do a consultation. They didn't. Nobody went to the schools. Nobody asked them. Nobody consulted them. They just imposed it at short notice, illegally, which is why, of course, a lot of parents are taking the government to court, and some schools are taking the government to court on a separate matter as well. Same reason, different point legally. And so it's all falling down around their ears. Now, the great thing is, if the parents, this parents group I was talking about before, do win their case, then that's it. VAT cannot be applied on public schools, on public schools at all. And so private education will remain VAT free, because you cannot cannot say, Jewish children don't pay VAT, Christian children do. Yeah, ECHR will have a word with you on that one. Oh, Muslims want to have all girls' schools, but we can't provide that, so we'll have to let them go VAT free if they're a Muslim girl. Again, not going to happen, is it? So the Labour government are actually shitting themselves on the courts, because the courts will tend and have historically tended towards school children where appropriate, because they see it as being more important to the school children's future. It's been one of those things where it's the bias is more to the student than the government. It's always been that way. And so the government now are actually actively looking to perhaps change the law, emergency legislation to come in. This is how bad it is. And this is why this Whitehall whistleblower is saying the things he's saying, that they're actively panicking. They haven't got a clue what the effects are going to be. And certainly, if it's as high as they think, which is somewhere in the region of 60,000 coming in, they're saying, well, that's basically 20 to 25 new secondary schools that have to be built and have to be funded and have to be staffed with teachers as well as ancillaries, the whole lot. And the cost to that would more than outweigh any rise that they'd get from putting VAT on public school education. And so it's another policy that's failing. Oh, we're going to raise money. How much? When the bill lands. And of course, they're already planning to drop in 10 years worth of expenses and claim all the VAT back on that, because, hey, that's the law. Again, Rachel Reeves, too stupid to understand this, and backed by Keir Starmer, who has got this deep Marxist anti-private education view, because he says children should not be educated, and that's the way they are. Why do they all speak funny, isn't it? But they do, they've all got that strange monotone computerized voice. But he does not like private education because, hey, kids get an advantage by learning shit and then growing up and asking awkward questions. Let's keep everyone stupid. That works. I mean, if you were to say, fine, we'll bring state schools up to the level of public schools, sweet. I think everyone would go along with that. Because at that point, you think, well, what's the point of a public school? But when that's not happening and you're dragging people down because you don't like anyone climbing up a ladder, that's just class war, isn't it? Jealousy, the politics of envy. This coming from a man who's a multi-millionaire, of course, who benefited greatly from the leg up he had, but he doesn't want anyone else to have the leg up. Much the same way as Ange buying a council house. Doesn't want anyone else to do it. I'm all right, Jack. Pull up the ladder. Pair of them. But it's not just them, it's everyone. They're all at it. Nobody wants anyone to succeed anymore. I think we need to start rearranging the deck chairs here because this ship is sinking and sinking fast. My only hope is it goes down before the country does. Fingers crossed. Talking of going down, I wonder where Starmer spent Christmas. Was it in the bosom of his family or was it in the bosom of his friend, Ali? And not just the bosom, of course. But, while he's off enjoying himself and Rachel Reeves is off practicing her with her abacus, and you've got... come on, Brain, you can do it. Deputy Prime Minister. The Growler. Bloody hell. The Growler's off sitting there working out which new house. She's got 3 houses now, so which house to spend Christmas in. And they're all at it. Meanwhile, the people of this country go hungry, go cold, worried about their jobs, worried about the future. And this government just continues with policy after policy designed to fail. It would be nice if they got one thing right, but so far, nothing. But what do? Well, they panic, and they panic, and they panic. Now, the new parliamentary session doesn't start for another couple of weeks yet, but I can guarantee when they come in and they sit there, they're going to see, well, there's going to be a lot of emails, a lot of memos, a lot of bad press. And a lot of those backbenchers now will suddenly realise that perhaps it's time to go. I don't think Starmer's going to make it to May. I think now the backbenchers realise how desperately bad it is, and especially as I reported earlier with the farmers sort of targeting rural MPs. Everybody's angry about the Waspies. Everyone's angry about the pensions. And now everyone's worried about the future and their jobs because you've got a top table team at Labour, none of whom have ever had a real job. Starmer did have a real job, I suppose you could say, but his job was to keep pedos out of prison. And that seems to be about the limit of it. Keep pedos out of prison and bring illegal immigrants in. That's all Starmer's ever done in his entire political career. And yet somehow manages to become Prime Minister instead of being locked up or chased out of town or chased up a tree and had it set fire to, like little hobbits. Anyway, thanks very much. Let you decide what you think is the best answer. Till next time, goodbye.